I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Friday, April the 3rd, 2015. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu strongly rejected the proposed framework deal reached yesterday between world powers and Iran in Lausanne, Switzerland, which he said would pose a great danger to the region, the world, and threaten the survival of the State of Israel. His remarks followed a meeting with the Israeli cabinet, who was united in its opposition to the deal.
Now, some say that the only alternative to this bad deal is war. That's not true. There's a third alternative: standing firm, increasing the pressure on Iran until a good deal is achieved. And finally, let me say one more thing. Iran is a regime that openly calls for Israel's destruction and openly and actively works towards that end. Israel will not accept an agreement which allows a country that vows to annihilate us to develop nuclear weapons, period. In addition, Israel demands that any final agreement with Iran will include a clear and unambiguous Iranian commitment of Israel's right to exist.
U.S. President Barack Obama had called Netanyahu shortly after the agreement in Lausanne, telling him that the framework represents significant progress towards a lasting, comprehensive solution that cuts off all of Iran's pathways to a bomb and verifiably ensures the peaceful nature of Iran's nuclear program going forward. Adding that the U.S. was still concerned with respect to Iran's sponsorship of terrorism and threats towards Israel, and stressed that the U.S. was deeply committed to Israel's security. Meanwhile, Jewish organizations here in the U.S. expressed their concern over the framework deal. Executive Director of the American Jewish Committee, David Harris, said the AJC appreciated the efforts in the very complex negotiations and hoped that it would be durable, but said there was deep concern about whether Iran would abide by any undertaking it makes. B'nai B'rith International said there were still many questions, quote, involving the viability of the deal and whether the notoriously sinister and secretive Iranian government will honor the terms in good faith. The Conference of Presidents of major American Jewish organizations said there were still many questions to be asked. Chairman Robert Sugarman and Executive Vice Chairman Malcolm Hoenlein said, "We are very troubled by Iran's continuing activity as the leading global state sponsor of terror and its constant threats to destroy the State of Israel." They called on the U.S. administration to confront and curb Iran's support of terror groups like Hezbollah, Hamas, and others, and to speak out whenever officials in Iran make threats against Israel. And National Director of the Anti-Defamation League, Abe Foxman, also said that there were many unanswered questions remaining. He said the proposed accord has many obstacles to it because Iran simply cannot be trusted, urging, as all the groups did, quote, robust congressional review. Looking now at some other news, a young Israeli man who IDF forces were searching for hours, fearing he was kidnapped, today faced a Jerusalem magistrate court for allegedly faking the entire episode. 22-year-old Niv Asraf from Beersheba was believed to have gone missing from the West Bank yesterday after his friend had called police to say the car that they were driving in had a flat tire and that Asraf had gone to look for tools to fix it. Judea and Samaria District Police said last night that Asraf had been found in Kiryat Arba with canned food and a sleeping bag, and that the kidnapping had been staged. A police spokesman said, "We take this hoax very seriously, a waste of resources and rattling the entire defense system because of a deception is a most serious case, especially in this sensitive security situation." And as Jews around the world have been busy preparing for Passover, which begins tonight, B'nai B'rith International is doing its part to make sure those who need help in getting the necessary food for the holiday are ready as well. The organization is distributing more than 2,600 kosher for Passover packages, part of a program they created in the late 60s called Project Hope, which stands for Help Our People Everywhere. B'nai B'rith Executive Vice President Daniel Mariachin said the project is an opportunity to fulfill the commitment to helping communities through Gemilut Chasadim, acts of loving kindness. And with Passover beginning tonight, JBS will have special programming starting today and throughout the holiday. At 6 o'clock tonight, we'll bring you a Friday night Passover pre-Seder service from Central Synagogue in New York City, followed at 6:30 by a chance to celebrate a classical Seder at Michael Dorf's City Winery with Dr. Roost Westheimer, David Broza, Soul Farm, Judy Gold, and many others who add their originality to the immortal Exodus story and its universal message of freedom. That's followed at 7 o'clock with a David Broza concert from Masada, and coming up right after this newscast, a special Passover message. Looking ahead to the weekend, tomorrow, Saturday morning, there is also a service from Central Synagogue that runs from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. For more special Passover programming, you can check our website, jbstv.org. And that's the JBS News Update for Friday, April the 3rd, 2015. I'm Teisha Bader, wishing you a Chag Sameach.